we have some interesting beliefs that you've said about money that I think would make great discussions.
Yeah.
You started by saying $1 million is nothing and you should never take advice from a millionaire.
Yeah.
Could you explain your thoughts on that?
Did I offend you guys?
No, not really. No, we don't get offended. I think it's impossible to offend us.
No, I say these things out of discovery, out of personal discovery, right?
Yeah.
So like when I was taking advice from a millionaire and for millionaires, guys that had made money. And what happens is when a guy goes from nothing and makes $1 million, something immediately changes in this cat. Most of them, not all of them, but the ones that hit millionaire status then go into conservation. And I see this a majority of the time. It is not a minority, but a majority of the time, the guy goes into conservation now that he has money. He's won something, right? He's like, okay, now what do? I got to protect the money. Now I'm going to save money. Now I'm going to get an IRA. I'm going to get a 401k. I'm going to make I'm going to pay my house down. They start storing stuff, and that's not what got them the $1 million.
Couldn't you say that a person who has $1 million, for the most part,
he's as close to broke as you can be.
But they have enough to live a reasonable lifestyle.
But even so like a 4% withdrawal rate,
$40,000 a year. But let's just say, what if we turn?
He's only got 25 years before he's out of money.
What if we turn the million into?
And it's growing at 7%, you can safely withdraw 4%.
Most of them are not invested. Most of them are sitting in garbage accounts. They don't even know what it's in.
But if you do have $1 million, right, and you allocate that in a way that does give you some form of growth.
Does he have new income?
Does he what?
Does he have new income?
Yeah, for the $1 million, you would.
Yeah, I mean, it would be
because we're assuming they have $1 million invested.
$40,000 a year to live off of. His rent's $2,500 a month. His car's $774. He's broke.
I think
he's worried every day about going backwards.
Right, it is cutting it close. It is cutting it close.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. This millionaire concept has been around for my entire lifetime. I'm 65 years old. Mm-hmm. Okay, my entire lifetime, ever since money, millionaire was the deal.
So with inflation,
you haven't considered
it was $1 million today, or when the term millionaire grew in popularity, I think it was the 1920s.
Early 1900s.
And I think adjusted for inflation, that would be the equivalent today of like $17 million.
Holy
it's wild.
It's more like this. Okay.
Yeah. Explain it.
In 1958, when I was born, $1 today is worth 10 cents. So that is 10x. Mm-hmm. Okay, so $1 million in 1958, you would need $10 million today. Now you get to $10 million. Now you have a little bit of like, okay, I'm cool. Got a little bit of movement. Okay?
You think you can then go into conversation?
When is conservation?
You should never go into conservation.
But doesn't it make sense at a certain point?
I mean, I guess if you want to conserve, cool. But I don't that's not my game. My game is
But let's just say for the average
freedom.
person,
And $10 million doesn't get you freedom.
You
can't even lose your YouTube account.
What price? Oh, how much money do you need for freedom?
You guys can't cover COVID. You can't cover Malone. You can't cover J6.
I don't think those are our topics.
So,
I mean, those are things we don't really like.
If you went hard at it, your channel would be shut down.
Here's the thing: if you have $10 million and your lifestyle is costing you $150,000 a year, you have enough. Where if something were to happen to the channel, you could survive comfortably and still have a little bit of a buffer on $10 million. But where's the point that you think
now
you
you're
have
living
freedom?
off of $400,000 a year?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
But where's the point you get freedom? At what level of wealth?
It ain't at $400,000 a year income.
Is it $1 million a year in income?
You're still flying American. And if American don't fly, you don't fly. So you don't have freedom yet. I mean, let's just keep it real.
Yeah. So what's the level?
If you don't like your house anymore and you got $5 million in your house and you're like, the housing market sucks and I got to sell my house for $3 million, you don't have that. You don't have that freedom to say, I'm going to lose money and move because I just don't want to be here anymore.
So you're speaking based off of your own standards.
No,
right?
No, I'm saying based on math, man. This is not about me. This is fucking math.
But name a number. What's the number? What's the number? How much do you need? Is it $100 million?
It depends on what kind of class of life you want. Do you want your kids in public schools or even private schools today?
But that goes down to like a 3%, 4% withdrawal rate. So on $10 million, $400,000 a year, assuming you don't have kids, you don't really need the challenge.
You're going to spend the next 25 years consuming your money, and you're going to be broke by the time you're dead.
But then what's the point of having 33?
33. So you're going to be 58 years old, and you had $10 million, and you're broke now.
Well, that's assuming I spent all of it, though.
Well, you're spending $400,000 a year.
Yeah, but if you invest the money, a 3% withdrawal rate
Why are
should
you
last about
investing
50
it, though?
years.
I thought you had enough.
Well, you have to invest it if you want the
Wow.
money to last
Well,
50
inflation
years.
alone will
Yeah,
chip
of
away
course.
at it,
No,
right?
you wouldn't
You
just keep
guys said-
you wouldn't just keep cash. We're assuming that if you have 10 million, it's not like you just keep it in cash in a safe and just
What you're
draw it.
you're not assuming also that you have 25 years of deflation of that
True.
dollar.
That's true.
Okay, most people their investments are not even keeping up with inflation today.
That is true, but
So how many-
but most
how many-
investors I think are terrible. I think the average investor makes like 2.3% a year. The S&P returns 8.5, give or take. But the average investor is like buying and selling
only
stocks.
returns 8.5, Stephen, because they continue to rotate the winners in the S&P 500.
But that's how it works since it's weighted by market cap.
Yeah, well, you got 7 stocks holding up the whole thing
Correct.
right now. So if I'm not in those 7, or if I wasn't in it at the right point, I'm just saying most people do not see their. I mean, I know that is the pitch, right? That everybody earns 7 or 8%, but that's not really what's happening for people.
But let's say they earn 7% in real estate.
Okay.
Then that would be different for you.
But if you have $10 million, you're not heavily invested in real estate.
Why wouldn't you be? Really?
I'm just saying, how much real estate can you buy with $10 million?
$5 million property cash. Let's just say
that's
paid
true.
off.
That's true.
$5 million
That's true.
and or $4
it would
million
cash
and
flow $300,000 a year, maybe. Yeah, that's right. So he's got $300,000 coming in. It will grow. It will be there for him. He has no debt on it. That's a great plan. I love that plan.
Yeah. Do you think at your level of wealth you have complete freedom?
No,
Where is
Really?
your freedom restricted?
my freedom is restricted. If I wanted to buy a masterclass, that's probably going to go bankrupt. I'm going to have two guys there that bidding on the same company, right? And that can maybe make the deal happen faster than I could. Let's say I wanted to buy a REIT right now for this $25 billion, but I know in the future it'll be worth 100. I probably don't have the freedom to go make
Would be
that
to make
move.
more money.
No, it would be to make moves. It would be to make plays.
I guess
I
our
understand.
logic.
It would be to create. It would
I
be
understand.
to create legacy.
Okay.
You guys are talking
Yeah.
about me buying another
Yeah.
watch. I know.
Right. Okay. So
you're watching.
so you get fulfillment and enjoyment out of movement and growth and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I
So
love
that is
that.
why
That's
you
my
continue
trip,
to pursue
right?
it,
I'm
right?
taking trips.
Whereas a lot of people, it's kind of a means to an end of like living a life, being able to afford the watch they want and stuff like that.
yeah.
But for you, that is the end.
I
right?
said earlier, man, success is my drug of choice. Like I like
That
playing
makes
the game.
sense.
I like winning, right? So it's not about. I got a decent plane, so I don't need I don't need another one.
Can you walk us through the logistics? How much was the plane and how much does it cost to run?
Man, he jumped pretty quick right there.
Curious. Before we go off on another topic, I want to hit on this really
the
quick.
Gulfstream 650, it's an ER, it's extended range, so it can go from Miami to Dubai nonstop. It's a magnificent plane, and it was a 2020. It was a brand new plane. I bought it actually from a guy in China, in Russia, an oligarch right before Ukraine happened, and that plane's $70 million, and then it'll cost $3 to $3.5 million a year to run. Whether I
So
fly.
when you paid $70 million, you got a loan and everything, or like what does it look like to
That
actually
deal,
go and buy
what did
a
I
plane?
do on that deal? I sold my 550. I sold that to Tim Draper. I think I got, what was the number I got on that plane? Anyway, we did that.
Yeah.
We do have a small loan on the plane. I don't exactly know what it is right now. It's what city.
My understanding, those are good tax write-offs.
All of it.
Yeah.
Do you
I wrote all of it off that year. I don't think we're in at 70 million. I think we're in at 64 million, 63 million, something like that. And then that would become a tax deduction against earned income that same year, even though I took delivery of the plane like in December. So I only had it like for 17 days, took one flight in it and wrote off $63 million. That's a great headline for your video.
Do you manage your own wealth, or do you have a team that
manage
manages
it
it?
all, yeah.
You manage it. So like that when that
There is no one I
Is
take
that-
financial advice from.
is that private jet, is
No
that
tax
on auto
man,
pay?
no.
That note is on auto pay, or like because
Yeah, 100%.
okay.
A really scary truth is just how vulnerable your digital life is, and most people have no idea until it's too late, and then they're stuck spending several hours trying to solve a problem that they did not create. So don't be like my roommate Kevin, because I kid you not, his identity got stolen 2 years ago, and guess who's still paying for it? Me. because the one thing he still can't recover is his Venmo.
See, the trouble with identity theft and fraud is that it doesn't happen all at once. And by the time you notice, usually the damage is done.
And that's exactly where our sponsor, OmniWatch, comes in. It catches problems early by keeping an eye on your identity, credit, financial accounts, and online activity all together. And the best part is that setting it up only takes a few minutes, and then from there, it works quietly in the background all day, every day.
OmniWatch monitors your credit activity, data breaches, and the dark web using AI-powered detection tools that are able to spot suspicious activity in real time. If it finds something unusual, you get an alert that tells you exactly what happened and the next steps to take.
You can lock your credit, secure all of your accounts, and fight fraud with just one click. If identity theft does occur, OmniWatch connects you with US-based specialists to restore your identity and handle the damage with up to $2 million in identity theft insurance.
So head on over to omniwatch.com/iced to get 50% off of your first month and see for yourself if your information's actually secure.
Seriously, guys, the peace of mind is worth it. Protect your credit, identity, and online data today. Again, that is 50% off your first month at omniwatch.com/iced.